Nice.
Here we go.
Hey, everybody.
Little surprise video.
Surprise. Are you surprised? No.
Well, we never told anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, we're sneaky that way.
We are. How are you, Mark?
But, not too bad.
Yeah, good.
I was glad we had a public holiday yesterday.
Labor Day.
Labor Day, yeah.
Or May Day.
Or May Day. I don't know. Like Americans, we get confused because our Labor Day is in the fall. We have a different Labor Day.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah. And
Canadians, like
Canadian
September, right?
in September or something, right?
Yeah.
I've been gone too long, but I know that we have another Labor Day.
Sorry, Canada.
So it's like, what's going on, right? But
what do you call May 1st in May Day?
I'm gonna
There's nothing.
I'd have to ask Sasha because I completely forget it. I'm really bad with holidays unless I'm like reminded by someone.
Yeah, May 1st is a holiday in Canada.
It's something, right? Yeah. It's okay if you know the answer. If you know what holiday is May 1st in the U.S. or Canada, please comment below.
Yeah. I'm assuming your mom will probably.
My mom might know, or some other Westerner.
Actually, Mom never comments. So Mom, we're going to be looking for a comment down below.
Yeah, Matt wants to hear from you. If you enjoy these videos, please,
just say hi.
Yeah, just say hi. And actually, my parents are they're trying to learn super simple Chinese because they're coming to Singapore the end of this year.
Cool.
Yeah,
I know that.
So for my father's, for my dad's birthday, we got him a special like Chinese character book for like really simple, like for elementary schoolers.
Like Chinesey?
Yeah, Chinesey, like where you learn how to draw a man, tree, right? Really simple stuff. So they're starting to learn like the first 5 characters that a child would learn.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I'm proud of you guys. If you keep going at it. Yeah, exactly. You'll get there someday.
I'm not there.
they're still at the hello 1, 2, 3 stage.
I know 6 words.
Yeah, 6 words.
So I guess it's one word.
Chinese is tough. Same for all these languages we have on the board. Do you know these languages? So let's first do a language quiz. All right, this one. Any idea? I think this is too easy. English. Oh, there we go. English. Okay, that was too easy. How about this one? Can you guys see that one?
Hangul,
or in English we say
Korean.
Then this one.
Looks like Chinese.
Looks like there's a lot of things that look like Chinese, but then we have these special ones like right here. Right. So this one, our Japanese, right? And then down here, right? Character, right?
That's gotta be Chinese.
Gotta be Chinese, right? So Matt, your student had a question, right? Or your student
it's not that my student had a question necessarily, but I have an elementary, quite low level student. I won't say her name, and she's often picks up the English quite well, but she tends to speak and write, using Chinese word order. And we'll get into that a little bit on the board in a second. Now, Mark and I aren't able to read most of this, but luckily Mina, who works here, is fluent in 4 languages, including English. So
they helped us out.
She helped us to write this on the whiteboard. So if Mark or I mispronounce or say something wrongly, please be patient because we're also language students.
Yes, we are also trying to learn like you guys are. We're both language learners. We're both trying to learn languages other than English.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
for different reasons, but so basically, I think one thing that she or many students struggle with is, of course, grammar. And grammar is all about word order. It's basically just math, like subject, verb, object, right?
Yes.
So up on the whiteboard, we have a pretty easy sentence that has a subject, a verb, an object, and then a time expression. And time expressions in English, we always put them at the end, right? So
Yeah, if you want to just break down the colors.
I study English every day, so I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can see the colors.
It might be a little hard to see the colors, but
basically, orange would be the subject, right?
Right.
We have red as the verb.
Verb. Good.
Okay, I can write those down later.
Yeah, that's fine. And then
In this case, blue would be the object, and then purple.
purple for our time.
Time
Yeah,
expression.
I think the colors are coming through. Good.
Okay. Well, I think the dots were a bit tough to see.
The dots were really.
That was
yeah.
more for me, so I knew
Yeah.
because I don't know the translation.
Yeah. Well, these ones we gotta.
So it's pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
Subject, verb, object, time expression. So usually time and place in English, we'll put that at the end of the sentence, right? I study English at home. I study English at school, right? The place would also be at the end. So time and place at the end. All right. So the reason that, and my particular student this time around is Chinese, and she was struggling with this because we were talking about adverbs of frequency, so always, sometimes, never, usually, those things, and then every day, twice a week, once a week.
Yes.
And she was kind of really struggling with the word order, and I thought, you know what, I want to kind of break this down and show her and you guys now why English is like this and how we can kind of make that mental transition, that mental shift to just focusing on correct word order.
To this pattern.
So if we go with Chinese, okay, and for those of you that don't speak Chinese, like Mark's parents, I'll write that there.
This one is the Chinese. Right.
In Chinese, they would say, I every day study English. Okay, so we're lucky. We have subject, verb, object, but the time adverb or time expression is in the middle, right after the subject. So it's a little bit different from English, right? So of course, and if you're a Chinese student and you struggle with this, and you say, I every day study English, don't worry. We understand what you're saying. So in terms of communication, no problem, right?
Yes, yeah, no problem. Right.
Okay, now I study Chinese, so I'm explaining the Chinese one. I'm not going to pronounce it because I'm shy, and it'll probably be wrong.
It's okay.
Okay, I'll try. Like,
No, you
我
try.
每天学习英文, right? 我每天学习英文, right? And then even if I did that, if I was speaking Chinese, I would probably say 我学习英文每天, right? Because I would use the English order. So it's something that I try to avoid and try to get around. Mark, want to have a crack at
Yeah, I'll try the Japanese. Same for Japanese. When I write Japanese sentences, I'm usually copying English a bit. And it will sound strange to Japanese speakers, but they can usually get the main idea of what I'm trying to say. But for this, we'll show you the correct version of the Japanese, right? So the Japanese here, we have our subject, accompanied by this guy, but we won't talk about him. Yeah, it's a little special one. And then here we have our time expression, followed by, all right, here's our, all right, I'll do the red already at the end, and then our object. Okay. So that's the Japanese style, right? Here, this, right? Our subject would be I. Again, we'd have our study, but the study is all the way at the end. You see what we did with the verb? Right? English, we do I study English. Right? For Japanese, they do I English study. So a lot of people, when they learn Japanese, they think it's almost like Yoda. You know? I Japanese study, right? Yeah. So it's a different word order, right? So some of you, I think my father will get the Yoda reference, but it's a different structure for when we use the language. Yeah, and same, right? Same as the Chinese, actually, right? They put how frequently, right? The frequency every day. They put it after the subject and before the object and the verb, right? So it's a different pattern. And I guess should I just do clean lower up here?
Might as well.
Because if you're Korean, this is why it's so easy for you to learn Japanese compared to some other languages.
Or the other way around. If you're
Yeah, or if you're Japanese learning Korean, the Japanese and Koreans, right, often will have a similar pattern for their sentences. Whoops, one more color. See? So just like Japanese, the Koreans will also put our subject, frequency, object, then the verb at the very end. So, right? So as teachers, we understand that this English version is something new to you, right? Where you have to make sure you always emphasize what we see a lot in textbooks. It says SVO. SVO.
I have a feeling now.
Yeah.
I don't speak.
Or we're not pros on the Korean side. Is it also?
I don't speak Korean, but I think this is 영어,
Yongo?
and then this is study, and then this is like
Oh, and then that's the shimas.
입니다, like shimas.
Oh.
So I think.
So we might. Okay, if you're Korean or Anjun, please help us out, right? Or any of our Korean students, we're not sure about the action for the Koreans. I think we'll learn that in a second. But as you can see, each language has a unique way of structuring a sentence. So you have to make sure that you. There's our Korean guy.
Facebook Live.
So this is Facebook Live. Where
This is Celine.
yeah, this is Celine. She's our one of our staff, and she happens to be Korean. So,
Yes.
so Celine, you can help us.
저는
Yes.
Jana,
what is this?
매일
매일
매일.
every day
Meir,
English
영어.
영어
English.
study right?
Is this
Correct.
one study?
This is
All of
study and then this is the
Samida.
Present. Yeah, 합니다.
Hamnida. Oh, I was close. I was close. Hamnida.
합니다.
So it's just like shimas.
So in English you would
Okay.
say I everyday
Okay.
English study.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's all.
That's
Okay.
it.
So again, you see that. Oh yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So again, that one's matching the Japanese style, right? Where you have those pieces of the sentence.
Yeah, and I just got lucky because I can read Hangul because actually learning how to read Hangul is very, very easy. Hangul is brilliant. I don't know
Yes.
if you've ever
I really want to learn, but I'm always intimidated by Korean still. But
I think, Mark, you're a smart guy. You could learn how to read Korean in 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
The whole language.
Yeah.
You can learn how to read it.
read the whole language. So any sentence, I could say the words out loud.
You could phonetically say them out
Phonetically
loud.
say them out loud.
Because Hangul is
Yeah.
an amazing.
Well, it's the only one that was like just built by one guy, right? I think our Koreans know this, right? You are the one guy, right? Who
Well, one guy designed it.
one guy? Yeah. I mean, the language itself, of course, is more than one guy, but at least the character system, one guy, right?
Yeah, and it's basically just a matrix where a vowels along the top and consonants here.
On the bottom, and then
you just match them.
you
together.
mix and match. Yeah,
So it's quite.
it's very cool.
It's quite cool.
Maybe that'll be my next learning goal.
It's quite cool.
Yeah, but so guys, so we hope this helped a little bit, so you can see the pattern in your languages. Of course, the more you study, the more you'll see the similarities or differences between your language and English, right? So
I definitely come into this because I'll say like, 我会说英文的很好,
Yeah.
right? So I can speak English very well, right? But in Chinese, I have to say 我的英文说得很好. My English speak very good.
yeah, my English speak very good.
Yeah, 我的 my 英文说得很好. I think that's the correct order. So if it is, type and be like, good job, Matt, because you're my teacher. And if you're from another country, Spain, Italy, I know Claudia, you like to watch these videos.
Yeah,
How would you write this sentence in Spanish or
yeah.
Italian?
In
or-
your language, would you
Mongolian.
use the subject, verb, object, then the time, or do you have a different version? Right.
And then, just another digression.
Mhm.
In Japanese, we don't even, if we're speaking, do we even use the subject?
Often we'll omit the subject. So yeah, when they're speaking, if I say mainichi eigo o benkyou shimasu, right? I don't need to be like, I'm the one studying Japanese, or I'm the one studying English, it's assumed, right? So it depends on the language. Sometimes, especially with Japanese, you can remove the person as long as it's easily understood who you're talking about. English, we tend, you can't say study English every day. You need to have that subject.
You need it? Okay.
Right? I think in English, right?
In English, of course.
In English, of course, right? In English,
yeah, of course.
in English we have this.
Japanese.
English, sorry, in Japanese, I guess students, you can correct me as well, but I feel like there's a lot of times you can get away with no subject in Japanese, whereas in English, if I removed the subject in English, we'd be very confused, and it sounds very strange.
I mean, we can get into like studying English every day is good for you, and then we can use the verb as a subject, but we won't talk about that. So again, for the lower level students, I know a lot of you maybe have not got this far into the video, so I might be talking to nobody.
It's okay,
but
we're having fun.
It's important at the low level when you're starting to learn a language. Focus on phrases. Focus on phrases like I study English every day, and then we remove part of the sentence and plug in another of that same verb or same word. So, for example, right, we can just delete the noun, the object, right?
Yes, I study,
right?
And
we can say I study Chinese, I study math, I study science, right? And we just fill this in. We fill this in with a verb.
Some verb. And
we fill this in with some, noun, person, place, or thing. And we just get into that habit, because language at this stage, it's all about just building a habit of putting things in the correct order. So my upper intermediate students, actually, you guys do this too, where you make these mistakes, but they're small mistakes and it's not very important, but that's because of the habits that you developed as a lower level student. So we can take, an easy one, like, I watch, right?
Good, I watch.
So we can put in 100 different nouns, right?
Yeah.
I watch TV, I watch Netflix, I watch a movie, I watch my sister play
video games on the TV.
Video games, we can fill that in.
Ton of
so
options,
many different things, and it's just practicing that sentence order again and again and again. And this is only for present simple, so that's
So every single pattern, like that's another thing with learning English like this. Like once you learn something in class, you learn a pattern in class, right? Almost every week we go through some grammar pattern. Then a great way to really speed up your learning is to start thinking, what other ways can I use this pattern, right? And you can even check with your teacher, right? What different verbs, what different nouns, what do I know? How can I use it? Do I know only every day, or can I do once a week, twice a week, once a month, right? You start to experiment with each pattern that you learn in class. And then, the more you practice it, the more you use it, the more this will become natural to you. Just like in Chinese, this is very natural for a Chinese person. If you say it differently, they get confused. Same for Americans, right? Same for English speakers. If you don't use the correct pattern, right, it creates confusion for the listener.
Yeah, and then also what I was teaching my student
one more
is adverbs of frequency. Right? So always, and we have a video about this, so if you want to learn about this, you can check that out.
Yeah.
Always, sometimes.
Yeah, this is a big emphasis for our beginner elementary students.
Never, something like that, right? It must go in the middle, right? I always study, okay? Always study. I always study English, okay? We can't say I always study English every day, because that's always and every day have the same meaning, right? But so depending on the time expression, this starts to become a little bit more like Chinese, right? I always study English, right? Okay. So it's actually almost the same.
It's getting close.
Chinese and English are close sometimes.
Right? So I guess we went a little deeper there. I think it works. So so far I think no comments yet. But again, if you see this later, comment below with your language, right? If your language is different, is it the same as English? subject, verb, our object, our noun, frequency, or is your language different, right? Especially some of our, Vietnamese students or our
Thai.
Russian, right? We have Russian students, Italian students, Spanish students, French students. If yours is different, please let us know. And we'd love to see what you come up with in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I study English every day. How do you say that in your language?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So
that's it.
we'll hope you guys have a wonderful end of the week and weekend, and we'll see you on video again sometime next week.
Probably
Yeah.
next Thursday.
Probably Thursday,
Yeah.
right?
Thursday.
Okay.
Bye,
Until
everybody.
then. Yep. Bye bye.
Adios.
Oops. Yeah. And